All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to switch it up. In front of me right now, I have 40 questions that were proposed to WNBA GMs ahead of the regular season. We're going to talk about it, just do a bit more of like previewing of the season. We're a couple games in. I'm a little late to this. This did go up on May 16th, so I'm a little behind on it, but I thought it was very interesting to look at what some of these GMs think of these players, who belongs where, who's the best point guard, um, who's likely to have a breakout season, all that kind of stuff. It's 40 questions. It probably won't take that long to get through, but we'll talk about all of them. I'll give my opinion. I'll see if they maybe missed out on anybody that should have been on these lists and all that good stuff. If you like what I say, like the video. If you have your own opinion, comment it down below. Just like the vibes, consider subscribing. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. I thought this was super interesting. They do this for the NBA a lot. They do GM surveys, they do player surveys, and it's always super interesting to see what like these players' contemporaries think of them, what other GMs think of these players, who they think is valuable, who they think is on the trajectory to be great. People far smarter than me answering some very important questions. So we're going to start with, if you were starting a franchise today that could sign any player in the WNBA, who would it be? And they broke this up into percentiles. Um, I'm going to read this backwards. I'm not going to read the top. We're not going to go from one to the bottom. We're going to go from bottom to one. Build a little suspense here. So, also receiving votes, which is basically honorable mentions, for this question is Dominique Mongola, the rookie this year from France, playing for the Seattle Storm, and then you have Nafisa Collier, who is the presumptive MVP favorite, receiving votes, and then at two, you have Asia Wilson of the Las Vegas Aces, 33% of the votes. I think that's pretty on the money right there. I would take Asia Wilson. Asia Wilson's just so good. And then at 50%, no surprise, if you're starting a franchise today, almost everybody at 50% would want Caitlin Clark. I have no disagreements with this. I think these top two are super kind of obvious at this point. I mean, Caitlin Clark is just so easy to build around. Um, Point guards are always easier to build around, better than bigs. It's easier to find a big that will do the dirty work and get rebounds and shoot a couple of threes versus a transcendent guard, who will change your franchise essentially. Um, but I think if I was building a team, I think, and this is sort of like a diss towards the Las Vegas Aces that Asia Wilson plays for. The Aces haven't done a great job building around her. They've gotten lucky a few times. In the playoffs, and I think they, there could be a better job being done in this on that team for Asia. But I think is a good pick. I think that's a really good pick for if you were starting a franchise today, you could sign any WNBA play. Who would it be? I think Caitlin's the right answer as of today. And then the next question is, which player forces opposing coaches to make the most adjustments? Honorable mentions: Elisa Thomas, Nafisa Collier, tied for number two at 25%. Brianna Stewart. Okay, I'll give it to you. Um, Also tied at number two at 25%. Caitlin Clark. Hasn't gone too deep. Obviously, not too deep into her career yet. I think as she gets a bit smarter, as her passes get more accurate, as her shot selection becomes a little, or her shot diet becomes a little bit more refined, and she knows when to take these deep threes. She knows she knows when to get into the paint instead of just diving to the basket, make it a floater. All these things that come with age and come with time. I think Caitlin Clark is definitely going to be one of the hardest players to guard. Um, in the latter half of this decade, when she obviously has the body now. She worked so hard in the offseason to improve her body, get a little bit stronger. But it's just about the way she gets her shots, how she improves her teammates even more. She's already on a great trajectory. So I think that's a great answer. Um, but the number one spot does belong to somebody else. At 33%, Asia Wilson, Las Vegas Aces forward slash center. Um, I will say this. This question is very weird to me. Hear me out here. It's which player forces opposing coaches to make the most adjustments, right? Most adjustments, not the hardest to guard, which you would think is the is the question. It's not the hardest to guard. It's the most adjustments. So it's who do you have to throw the most bodies at? Who do you have to change what do you have to change every time you play X person? You know? I think Asia Wilson is also the most unstoppable player. Like most unguardable player. Simply because of the way she gets her shots in past seasons when she had a bit better of a team around her, the way she could um, get to the basket, the way she could finish at the basket, the rebounding, supreme. Um, she has tried to space out the game a little bit more for herself and her team over the past couple years at the mid-range level, at the three-point level. Um, but I think this question is also saying that like there's nobody that can stop her in the sense of like, oh, every night we have a person on our team that can guard Asia Wilson. They have to throw the whole kid and sink at her. So I think that's super on the money for sure. Asia Wilson at 33%. The next question: which player is most likely to have a breakout season this season? Um, I thought this was super interesting. This is basically who do you think is going to win Most Improved Player? um, there's a lot of percentiles here. We're gonna try to run through these very quickly because some of these I don't know. Not that I say I don't disagree with them. I just think breakout to me has to include some winning. You know what I mean? It has to include some winning. Because if you break out and you don't really win or you don't improve your team, you don't improve your team's winning percentage or winning total. I don't think you've improved. You're just a bad stats, good stats, bad team person, and that's not an improvement to me. You know. Um, Nevertheless, let's run through these. There's one really big pick, but there are a bunch of little ones in here. Brittany Griner from the Atlanta Dream, Ryan Howard from the Atlanta Dream, Rika Jackson from the Los Angeles Sparks, Aaliyah Boston. I think Aaliyah Boston's a good one. Um, Gabby Williams, Seattle Storm, Kelsey Plum. Kelsey Plum has already had a most improved season. If she could win it again, that'd be interesting. Huh. I didn't really think about that. Um, Marina, oh geez, I can never say this one. Melbury, Mabry. That's how you say it. Mabry. Yes, got it. Connecticut Sun, Maddie Sigrist, um, Dallas Wings, and oh, that's the number one. Let's talk about these other ones. Um, from what I've seen and from what I've heard, Aaliyah Boston for the Indiana Fever isn't really getting the touches a lot of people think she needs. And not that I disagree, but I I think when you get into this position, right, when you have a great guard, you want to optimize the guard because the guard is always the better player, especially in this day and age in 2025. The guard is always the better player. I don't care what, or even more so, a big that plays like a guard. You very rarely see a guard that wants to play like a big. You always see bigs that want to play as guards. You know, athletes want to be rappers and rappers want to be athletes, sort of conundrum. Um, one's obviously better than the other. um, but I don't think Aaliyah Boston gets the look she gets because doesn't get the look she deserves or could use to improve because she's playing with arguably already one of the greatest guards of. No, she's the greatest guard of her generation, and Caitlin Clark. I don't think anybody's gonna top her. That's coming in. Obviously you have Paige, who is off to a rough start in Dallas, rookie this year. You have Juju Watkins, who was injured in the tournament this past spring. She's gonna miss all of next year in college, and then who knows where she's gonna be at when she comes back. So Caitlin Clark might be the best guard of her generation, and you're a big playing with her is just gonna have to deal with it. You're gonna have to deal with it, man. I don't know what to tell you. Kelsey Plum, I love me some Kelsey Plum. It'd be very interesting to see her take another lead because I said this in my video. I don't even know what video. I think I said it at when I was talking about opening day, opening night for this WNBA season. It's very interesting to look back on Kelsey Plum's career and look back at Kelsey Plum's career. And actually, let me pull it up real quick. Let me pull it up because you got to stay ready here. Um, look back at her career starting in 2017, and she was drafted as the first overall pick. Damn, she really was the first. Wow, time flies by, man. First overall pick, and she was drafted to the San Antonio Stars at the time, and then they moved to the Las Vegas, and they became the Aces. And she was looked at to be that girl. She was supposed to be the franchise, and she never really put it together. Even in the first 2 years in Vegas, she never really put it together. And then she got injured in 2020, Achilles. And I'm not saying the Achilles was a good thing for her, but man, the jump she had from pre-tearing her Achilles to post-tearing her Achilles is miles and miles better. And you look at her seasons right after the Achilles. So 2021 is her return year. Um, 14 points a game, a huge jump from the 8 points, 9 points, 8 points that she was averaging pre 2020. Um, huge, huge, huge jump. Let me see here. The effective field goal, much improved. The free throws, much improved. The 3-pointer, about 20% better to her previous year. Not as good as her first year in Vegas, which was 2018, but the 3-point attempts went up. The makes the made stayed about the same till the following year, 2022, when she actually started making more threes. She started taking more and making more, even more than in 2021. She didn't start a game though. Did not start a single game in 2021. She did win Sixth Player of the Year. I kept thinking she won Most Improved that year. That was sixth Player of the Year. My mistake. And then she's just been getting better. Just to run through it real quick. 14 points in 2021. In 2022, 20 points. In 2023, 18 points. In 2024, it dipped down a little bit to 17. But this season, this is only 3 games played. She's already averaging 26. If she stays around this ballpark, around like 26 or 23, oh man, it is such a discrepancy from what you would think a number one pick would be to what she's ended up being is so crazy. And I'm going to say this: she could win Most Improved. I thought she already won one, but she perhaps could win one. She could have a Sixth Player of the Year and a Most Improved player under her belt. I'm not mad at that. Um, moving on. We're still in the same question. Which player is most likely to have a breakout season? The number one choice for most of the GMs at 20% was Satu Salabi. Um, Satu is just I love Satu's game. I love um, any play. This is gonna sound so crazy. I like any player that plays like Asia Wilson. Like in that forward sort of big category, like Satu, um, Asia obviously is the prototypical big for that, and then the Fisa Collier. I love that. I love that style of play in the women's game. It's just so good. Drafted in 2020, Satu um, has made huge strides, similar to Kelsey Plum. Um, she was the second pick in the first round. Yeah, second pick in the first round, 2020 draft. um, she's taken huge strides between her first year, second year, third year, only around like 13 to 11 points a game. Not very good, sort of average, I would say. Um, the 2 point percentage was always above 40, which is good. The 3 point percentage has taken a huge step. When I say huge, I mean huge step um, from these first 3 years to hit her fourth, fifth, and sixth year now. Really good stuff. Um, she was an all star in 2021. Damn, okay. And she was an all star in 2023. Since 2022, she's jumped up from 11 points. These are the following seasons in order to 18 to 17. And this season, her first season is Phoenix, only 2 games played so far, 26 points a game. Um, yeah, again, if she stays around 23 to 26, this is a huge improvement, absolutely huge improvement. So I don't think they're off. I don't think the GMs are wrong about this at all. Um, the next one, this is going to be a spicy one. Who's the best point guard in the WNBA? It is tied for first. There's only two answers. The GM said we only got two answers for you. Um, tied for first, Chelsea Gray of the Las Vegas Aces, 50%, quote unquote point guard. That's GAWD, point guard. And then Caitlin Clark, 50%, tied for first. They only said there's two answers. That's it. I'm surprised there's honorable mention. There's no honorable mentions there. That's crazy. Um, I'm going to say this as a Caitlin Clark fan and as a Las Vegas Aces fan. Chelsea Gray, I've had the pleasure of watching Chelsea Gray. She hasn't had the best seasons on the Aces. She's been kind of up and down. Caitlin Clark, obviously the new kid on the block, second year, um, changing the game. Um, I'm not gonna say who's right or wrong or who's better because I think they're both very good. I just think it's the different style of point guard. It's the different generations. It's like in the NBA. You compare Chris Paul to Steph Curry. Both are great, right? Both are undeniably great, undeniably. But it's just a difference in what you think a point guard is. Do you think Caitlin Clark is really a point guard? We'll get to that in a second because there's another question here. Chelsea Gray is obviously a point guard. Played with some great players. Um, they call it the point guard for a reason. I just think it's a discrepancy in which play style you like. You know, personally, I like the Caitlin Clark play style better than the Chelsea Gray play style, and I like the Steph Curry play style better than the Chris Paul. Does that make Chris Paul bad? No. Does that make Chelsea Gray bad? No. I just think it's a discrepancy in where what you value in a quote unquote point guard. Now moving on to the next question here. This is the one thing I hate about GM surveys, and anytime they do any sort of these surveys, is that they ask you who's the best point guard, right? And then they ask you who the best shooting guard is. Spoiler, I'm going to spoil it right now for you. Caitlin Clark is apparently the best shooting guard and the best point guard. I don't know how you can be both. Don't ask me. This is just how they did it. I don't know how they can do both. I don't know. She can play both positions, no doubt, but there has to be a majority of time where she spends her minutes to be classified as one of those. I think Caitlin Clark is a point guard. I don't think she's a shooting guard. Kelsey Mitchell is the shooting guard on that team, you know, on the Fever. So no offense to CC, um, not the best shooting guard in the WNBA. Let's read through some other people that are possibly the best um, shooting guards in the WNBA. Jackie Young, Las Vegas Aces. Jackie Young has never taken that step for me. She's not. It always feels like she's like, just like maybe like, just doesn't have it. You know, just a step behind for me. Arike Gumbawale. Um, I I had a conversation with somebody on Reddit yesterday or the day before that, and I was like, they, there was it was the whole post was about how Enrique's play style is just bad. Like it's just inconsistent, right? Not inconsistent. It's inefficient and it doesn't mesh well with the the game of Paige Beckers, who is probably going to be your franchise in Dallas. Um, and Enrique is going to have to move on to a different team. Not because Enrique is bad, but just her play style doesn't match. She needs the ball in her hand. And I equated Enrique to James Harden in the NBA, where play style looks good. Um, you think it's high level basketball, and you realize you're just kind of a shot chucker who's been able to take whatever shot he's wanted or she's wanted for however many years. And then when it's actually time to win, when it's actually time to be a part of a system, because that's what it takes to be a championship level team, is to be a part of a system. There's no one man, no one woman that takes a team to a finals, takes a team to an NBA championship. It's never happened. It never will happen because it's a team effort, right? And everybody has to sacrifice something, whether it's touches, whether it's points, rebounds, assists. Something has to be sacrificed. And if you don't want to sacrifice, or you are incapable of doing it and you just say you want to do it, then it sounds mean. I'm gonna be very mean. You don't deserve to be on a championship team. If you just think you're that good and you're the person, hey, more power to you. Go do it somewhere else and show me. You're not gonna be able to. You're not gonna be able to. That's the facts. That's the facts. Not specifically saying about Enrique at all. Not specifically saying about James. I'm just giving my overall thoughts about shooting guards that are really shot heavy takers. Um, Sabrina Ionescu, New York Liberty, 25%, tied for second. Um, I don't. I. I think. I think Sabrina has become more of a shooting guard as her career has gone on. Let me see. What do they have her classified? Um, Classified as on Basketball Reference. Let's see here. Um, they don't have her position listed here. Oh, it just says guard. It doesn't even say point guard. It just says guard. Okay. Yeah. I think over the years she has become more of a shooting guard. I mean, her assists have never. She's never had more than 8 assists in a season. Some of these seasons she was on really bad teams, so I'm not gonna like dock her for that. Um, Her highest assist total was 6.3, and that was in 2022, her first year as an All Star. Um, what was her lowest here? The lowest was last year. Oh no, that I'm looking at turnovers. Pardon me. Her lowest was it's starting this year at 4.5, but we won't count that because they've only played 2 games, and they've put belt to ass both games. 5.4 or four flat. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Rookie season. Yeah. Bad team. Yeah. Okay. We don't even talk about that. Next one is Kayla McBride. Kayla McBride. I like Kayla McBride. She sort of fits into that archetype of Enrique too, where she's a shot chucker. Has calmed down a lot on the shot chucking though. I will say that. Um, Sacrificed a lot for the Fisa Collier, for other people on that Minnesota team for them to go to the WNBA finals. Um, I like Kayla as a shooting guard, and if I'm gonna discount Caitlin and not include her in the shooting guard conversation because she's a point guard, Kayla might be the best shooting guard by merit, by position. Because I guess Sabrina is really a guard. She's not point guard or shooting guard. She's just guard. That sounds crazy to say, but we are in that modern age of basketball. Um, Moving on. Who is the best forward in the WNBA? This one's pretty straightforward. You have 4 people in line. Number 4, with 8%, is Lisa Thomas. I'm not very familiar with Lisa Thomas' game. It's not a type of playstyle that I preferably like. Again, like I said, I like my forwards to be more of a Asia Wilson, a Fisa Collier, um, Satu, and even a Brianna Stewart game when she was a bit younger and a bit more athletic. Not so much now. Um, but at least that 4 is fine. Brianna Stewart, with 25%, New York Liberty forward, at 3. I would agree with that. I think she's past her time. I think these other girls, these other women have caught up to her. As she's regressed a little bit. Obviously, she had that Achilles injury. She's come back and she's still been able to retain some of her star power and obviously bring a championship to New York. um, along with Sabrina Ionescu. But these top two are just undeniably the two best forwards in the game right now. Tied for first at 33% each. Nafisa Collier and Asia Wilson. Nafisa Collier and Asia, man, so similar in play. Asia, I think, is a slightly better defender, um, but that might just be how it shakes out during the season. I think Nafisa could have a really good defensive season as well. But I've talked about Nafisa, I've talked about Asia a lot this video already, so let's move on. Oh, see, and then again, we have another predicament with the next question: who's the best center? Spoiler again: Asia Wilson is apparently the best center. How can she be the best center and be the best forward at the same time? Again, you have to spend a majority of your minutes at a certain position, and you have to be designated at that as that position. Um, is she the best center? No. Is she the best small ball center? Yes. Um, these other women deserve some love too. Brittany Griner at three from the Atlanta Dream with 17%, still pretty good, still really good. I thought she might have a down year. The Atlanta Dream have come off really strong the last two games. I think they've split their last two. Um, and then John Quill Jones, the Finals MVP from last year, New York Liberty center. I would put my hand up and say John Quill Jones is the best center, definitely at 33%. So really good stuff. Um, some off season stuff, and then where are we right now? Where are we? Oh yeah, off season stuff. So we're right here. Okay, so yeah, we'll blast through this off season stuff, um, very quickly. The question is, which team has made the best overall moves this offseason via free agency trades and draft? Indiana Pacers are not Indiana Pacers. Indiana Fever at 64%. Hands down, best offseason. A lot of veterans acquisitions, not a lot of draft incumbents, but a lot of veterans wanted to come to this team and play with Caitlin Clark and play under Coach Stephanie White. So they've taken it far and away with 64%. And Dallas, obviously, just drafting Paige Beckers deserves some note with 18%. Also receiving votes, Phoenix and Chicago. Chicago's a dumpster fire right now, so I think they got the whoever voted for Chicago is should lose their job. Um, Next question: which player acquisition will make the biggest impact? Um, at 20%, Satu Sabali, um, Phoenix Mercury. Damn, I couldn't even think of the name. Um, I've noted Satu as a favorite player of mine in my prediction video for the season. I think she's going to elevate Phoenix um, a little bit. I think they still need more pieces, but I think this is a year where you just get comfortable on a new team and you try to improve the record a little bit. Kelsey Plum with 30% in second. Los Angeles Sparks. Love me some Kelsey Plum, man. I've already talked about her. And Elisa Thomas getting 50% of the votes at the number one spot. Um, her and Satu, man. Phoenix is gonna be good, man. I'm telling you, Phoenix is gonna be good. The next question: what will turn out to be the most underrated player acquisition? At seven, these are all tied for how. Mm, I don't know how that works. Um, all these are tied for number one. DeJounte Carrington with pardon me, Dejanay Carrington, DeShante, Dejanay Carrington from Dallas, 17%. Ariel Atkins, 17% from Chicago. That has not turned out to be true. And Sophie Cunningham from Indiana hasn't played a game yet, so TBD, to be determined. Also receiving votes, um, DeWanna Bonner, Indiana. I think that's better than the Sophie Cunningham piece of this. Natasha Cloud, New York Liberty. I think I I would say Natasha Cloud is a better acquisition for New York than Dejanay is for Dallas. Um, Sammy Whitcomb, Phoenix. I don't know Sammy. Courtney Vanderfloot, Chicago. Again, everything about Chicago, everybody got wrong. That's crazy. Kayla Thornton. This has Golden State Warriors on it. GSW. supposed to say GSV, Golden State Valkyries. Okay, and Elisa Thomas. Not. I guess it's not underrated. I guess everybody knows that she's good. I know she's good, but I've never been a fan of her game. Um, yeah. What was the most surprising move of the offseason is the next question. Um, Also receiving votes, Natasha Cloud, Kelsey Plum, Satu, and uh, Natasha Howard. Um, hmm. I guess if you knew Satu was going to Phoenix. You knew Kelsey was going to get moved. At the conversation was her going to um, the Liberty, the Fever, I think. Um, the what's the names? The Storm, and yeah, I guess people knew. And then Natasha Cloud was a whirlwind. I think that was crazy because you didn't know where she was going to end up when the season started. I think everybody knew after Phoenix had traded a lot of their pieces, they were gonna trade her too. She ended up in Connecticut, and then she's down in New York now. I think that was a roller coaster. I think that was surprising where she ended up. I think that deserves more votes as well. Um, Getting into the percentiles, Brianna Jones, Atlanta, 17%, tied for second, and Brittany Griner, 17% for Atlanta. I think I, I agree with those two. Atlanta got a steal of a deal with Brianna Jones and Brittany Griner, getting them to come down to Atlanta and play. And the number one spot belongs to Dewana Bonner, 33%. I would agree with that. But at the end of the day, you kind of look at it like I hate to keep comparing Caitlyn to Steph Curry, but um, people want to play with her, man. She makes the game easy for everybody, you know. And you want to play with those kind of players because after doing it a while, especially like Dewana had to do, um, being the person, being the woman, being the guy on a team, it's draining. And sometimes you just want to take a back seat and say, "Hey, I'm fine with being the second, third option on this team," and you carry all the burden of being the best player and the franchise player. I think that's not surprising at all. Um, which team will be the most improved in 2025? Now, see, this is where I think GMs get in trouble because there's a little bit of bias. There's a little bit of like, what's it called? Um, Preconceived notions. Because some this looks bad. This looks bad right now. Um, at 8% is the Los Angeles Sparks. I'm huge on the Los Angeles Sparks. By the way, I think once they get Cam Brink back in next month in June, um, they might jump. They might be a little stagnation, but then they're going to jump right back up. I would have had them at the top. Atlanta, I wasn't too high on Atlanta, but they're at number three with 17%. Um, Everybody was wrong about Chicago, man. I know it's only a couple games for Chicago. Don't get mad at me. But they're at 33%. Man, they are so bad right now. Oh boy, they are bad right now, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better. So they were bad. The GMs didn't know anything about that. And of course, the who else would be number one at 42%? The Indiana Fever. Again, Caitlin Clark, um, being a veteran talent, easy stuff. Um, Next up, some rookie and international stuff. We'll only do a couple of these because I don't want to read their whole article. If you want to check out their whole article, I'll put it in the description and you can click on it and read through it yourself. Who will win um, Kia WNBA Rookie of the Year? Um, it's kind of a crapshoot. I'm just gonna read through them. Sonia Citron at 9%. Okay. Dominique Mongola, 18. That's my pick. I don't think it's going to come to fruition. She hasn't played a lot. Start the season, I don't think she'll get a lot of minutes. I thought she was going to play more for that Seattle team. Doesn't look like it. Then obviously everybody's going to vote for Paige Beckers, and she doesn't really have to do anything except just play, just play. She just to play, and she'll win it. Um, Now this is what I'm talking about here. This is what I'm talking about. Which rookie will be the best player in 5 years? 5 years. At number two, Paige Beckers, 14%. At number five, Dominique Mongola at 60%. I I think this is an indictment on page saying she's already. We've seen what she can do. We know what she is. She's a pass first kind of girl. She can hit a deep shot every now and then. She likes to get her teammates involved. She's sort of we know where she's at. We don't know what Dominique can be. I agree with this sentiment. This is great. This is great. This is great. Um, get through a few more here. I don't want the video to run too long. Um, let's see. Next question: who is the best defensive player in the WNBA? Oh, this is super interesting. Okay, okay. Oh, okay. Honorable mentions: Brianna Stewart, New York Liberty. Okay, I, I will give her credit. I think Brianna, even though she had the Achilles injury, has maintained a lot of her defensive prowess, which is good. Brittany Sykes, Washington. Nobody's gonna watch Washington, so I don't really care. Um, I do like a guard defender though, so shout out to Brittany. At number three, former Defensive Player of the Year, Asia Wilson, 17%. Um, yeah, I think the part about being the best defensive player in the league is not having to carry an offensive burden as much, so you can focus on defense. So I can see how Asia's not the best defender in the league anymore. Um, Elisa Thomas from Phoenix, 25%. Basically, yeah, defense for Elisa Thomas. And number one, 33%, Nafisa Collier. I've yapped about Nafisa too much. We know she's good at defense, man. I didn't have her for defensive player of the year. I had John Queller. I had uh Aaliyah Boston. Yeah, that's right. Let's see here. What else we got here? Oh wow. Okay. Which team will be the best defensive team in the WNBA this year? Um, honorable mentions: Seattle. Okay. Las Vegas. Mm, New York. I would agree with New York. New York needed some more votes. That's kind of crazy that they're not up there. At number one, um, at 73%, Minnesota. I would agree with that. I mean, they have Nafisa Collier on that team, so I would agree with that. Man, oh man, oh man. All right, heading into some coaching stuff while we wrap this up here. This turned out to be a long video. um, I guess it's 40 questions, 40 minutes. That's what I'm gonna call this video: 40 questions in 40 minutes. Which head coach is the best manager slash motivator of people? I think this is super interesting. I think all these are correct, and they're in the correct order as well. Um, Sandy Brondello from New York, 9%. In the past, Sandy hasn't been known as the best motivator and of people, especially in her time in Phoenix. But um, good to see people still like her and what she's done in New York for the Liberty. Stephanie White, Indiana, I would definitely agree with that. 27%, tied for second. Becky Hammond, 27%. Becky, one of the best coaches, in my opinion, in the WNBA. Um, a bit of a hard ass, a bit of a sort of old school mindset. Um, I think a lot of these coaches are though. A lot of these they don't take no shit, man. I love that about WNBA coaches. Um, I like Becky a lot, man. She's a great motivator, and obviously, the uh, the coach that took one of their team to the NBA the WNBA finals, Cheryl Reeves, Minnesota, 36%. I saw a. It's funny that they had this question. I saw a clip of her um, last year, and it was like in the lead up into the finals, and how like motivated she was, and how motivated she was for the team, and like how engaged she was with the team. And I thought, damn, that looks like a good coach. Not knowing a lot about her, I was like, damn, I that's a good coach right there. The next question, um, which coach runs the best offense? I think this one is very interesting. At number three, Carl. I'm not even dare to say that last name. Carl. We'll call him Carl. The Atlanta Dream coach, 10%. Sure. Um, I'm gonna push back on this one a little bit. Tied for first with tied for first, Becky Hammond, 45%. I think Becky's offense is a little stagnant at times, and I don't think she's improved any of her coaching prowess. I think she just relies a lot on what she knows, and that's a lot of coaching. But I think at a certain point, When you've climbed to the mountaintop a bunch of times, when you've won it back to back, um, and you failed the season before, you need to change a little bit. And I hope she changes the offense a little bit this season. I don't know if the players and the pieces they have will allow for that, but I hope she changes a little bit. And again, one of the coaches that took their team to the WNBA final, Cheryl Reeves, has the best offense in the WNBA at 45%. All right, we got some fun ones to wrap it up here. Um, Again, if you want to check out the full article, I don't want to read through all the whole stuff, the whole thing. I'll let them do that on their own. You can read through it on your own time if you so choose. Couple fun ones here. Which retired player who isn't already coaching in the W should be? There's a lot of ties for one here. There's a lot of ties for one. And there's some honorable mentions. We'll talk about those first. Maya Moore. Maya Moore was a bit before my time. I saw her maybe like a handful of times before she suddenly retired. Um, Maya Moore strikes me as like a Kobe figure where she might coach like college at some point. She might coach like a high school team, but I don't think she wants to coach a WNBA professional team. I think that's a bit too much because when you're that great and Maya Moore was so great, you ask your players to do things and like, why can't you do that? And you have to sit back and realize, oh wait, they're not me. I was so freaking great. They just can't be me. There's things they can't do. Um, Candace Parker also receiving votes. I don't know if Candace Parker is. I like the way she talks about the game. I don't know the way she teaches the game and motivates people would be enough to be a good WNBA coach. I don't know. The case is still out on her. Um, Moving to the ties here. Sue Bird, 18%. Same thing with Candace. I like the way Sue talks about the game. Every podcast I've seen her on, she's great. She talks about the game well. She's articulate. Um, I just don't know if like Sue's aura would be enough to like motivate a team. I think people would listen to her. I think she's a lot of these young women's idol when it comes to being a point guard. You know, I don't know about that. Candace Dupree. I'm not familiar with Candace Dupree, so skip. Um, Lisa Leslie. Lisa Leslie apparently. Wait, did she interview? I think she was. There was some story with she was supposed to interview for the Chicago Sky job, but never did, or did, and there was just one interview, and she never got past the first interview. I think she will coach in this league one day. And Dawn Staley, national championship winner with North Carolina. Um, I think Dawn Staley is right where she should be, coaching these younger women, making them into pros at the college level, guiding them as well as she can. I think she's the coach of Team USA, no, of the women's team, right? I think she is, or she should be if she's not. But Dawn Staley, I think, would make a great Olympic coach as an Olympic gold medalist herself. Um, Let me get to another one here. Last two here. Which team has the best home court advantage? I think this is pretty obvious, but we'll read through them. Las Vegas Aces at 8%. Las Vegas used to be a lot louder when they first got there. I think the Magic has worn off a little bit. I think they've won a bit, not too much, but they've won so much that they're like, oh, they're used to like a regular season game doesn't do it for them. I think in the playoffs, it's better than the regular season. Indiana at 42, that place gets loud. Um, yeah, it gets it gets really loud. Caitlin Clark and those girls get that place rocking. And then New York, the reigning WNBA champions, in the finals, that place was packed. Dude, I remember when they moved to the Barclays. Well, actually, I remember when they were playing when they were supposed to play at the Garden, and they never really played at the Garden. They played at like some other building. I forget. It's like the Westchester building or something. And that place was freaking empty. It was empty. And then I think Joe Tsai bought the team. He moved them to the Barclays. And even when they moved to the Barclays, they kind of sectioned off some of the arena, and it was still empty. And I was like, and I remember watching Sabrina like her first 2 years and that whole team, and I was like, Sabrina's all world, man. They need more people in that place. And they slowly again started getting more people. This is even before Caitlin got in the league, and slowly started getting more people. And then I was watching the finals this last year, and that place was so freaking full, and there were so many celebrities in there. And I was like, it's come such a long way. Um, New York Liberty, man, definitely the best home court advantage. And then the final question: which player is the best leader? Um, oh wow, okay. You have two New York Liberty players, Natasha Cloud getting votes, honorable mention, and Brianna Stewart getting votes, honorable mention. I think Brianna Stewart is just she's been through it all, man. And I think that's what makes the best leaders is people that have been to the mountaintop, been at the lowest points. Um, this is their first time on a different team, or second year on second or third year on a different team. Drafted by the Storm, played with Sue Bird, was on a lot of good teams, was on a lot of bad teams too. Um, and they she's I wouldn't be surprised she's a great leader. Asia Wilson, peak of her powers, on top of the world. Um, one of the most recognizable faces in women's sports, Asia Wilson. She's tied for first with 42%. Not surprising at all. I always like Asia in the huddles. Um, and number one, Nafisa Collier, 42%, tied for number one, Minnesota. Man, oh man, Nafisa's on a roll, man. If Asia isn't careful and Asia has another bad year, or the team has another bad year, and the uh, the Lynx go back to the finals, Nafisa Collier, who just signed with Jordan Brand, by the way, might be taking Asia's spot, man. We'll see, we'll see, we'll see. Um, but yeah, those are the questions. I went through a lot of them. I thought I was gonna get through all 40, and then I started looking at the timer, and I started looking at all these questions, and I was like, you know what? Let me not get through all these because one, I don't want to ruin their whole article. You should go read their article, and two, I was like, some of these are a little weird, and I don't feel equipped to talk about them enough. Like, who's the most athletic player? Like, sure. I mean, yeah, I guess you could say blank is the most athletic player. Um, but yeah, that's it. That's the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I thought this would be a little shorter. I guess it wasn't. Um, I'm a professional yapper. I like to talk, especially about basketball. But if you like what I have to say, like the video and all that good stuff. I'll put the women's playlist in the top right corner if you want to click it. Um, check out my other videos. Um, and oh, drat, we're supposed to preview this game here. I literally just remembered that. Let's see, we're gonna do it really quick. Indiana Fever at New York. This is gonna be a great game. New York is on such a roll, man, and if Indiana falters a little bit and Caitlin Clark doesn't get it going early, um, I don't think they Indiana might have the bodies to deal with New York down low, but if New York really starts stretching it out and hitting those threes like they have been, especially last game against Chicago, whoo, it is in Indiana though, so we'll see what happens. But this is gonna be a great game. Give me. I'm gonna take the safe pick. Give me New York for this game. That is on Saturday, May 24th. So yeah. Oh, that'd be today when this video goes out because I'm recording this early. So yeah, go watch the game. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.